Well, hello.
Hey, how's it going? How are you?
Good, dude. I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. Nice day in New York, kind of, but yeah, it's good.
I mean, I see the sunshine hitting your face. You're glistening. It could
Yeah.
only be good.
I've never been in a space where I've had a window. Like I've always been in some basement in Brooklyn or something. And now having like a spot with like the sun from the universe, it feels good, man. It feels good.
um, before we begin, I saw that I guess like mini documentary on you and how you were in like this 100 square foot abandoned room. I was like, how does anybody make music in a dungeon like that?
Yeah, like that was a crazy place. Yeah, above a dog food factory, squatting in a the second floor of it that was completely abandoned. I walked in there, it was like Chernobyl, and there was like toilets on the floor and shit. And me and a couple of these old school punks from CBGBs, like these like 65-year-old dudes who were like crazy punks. I went in with them on this space. I gave them like $300 a month, just like not say anything. And then uh, my buddy and who I make the records with, he was working in the space. He got this big fist fight with those guys, and I got kicked out of the space, I got evicted from a place that you're not even allowed to be in the first place.
How
And
did
now
you
I'm
let
here.
the keys do it? That's the question.
Yeah, and now I'm turn this off. And now I'm in this graveyard in a different neighborhood in Brooklyn, which is fun.
Des, I appreciate you taking the time and hanging out with me today. Was very excited to be talking with you. I love your new song we've been playing.
Thank you so
It
much.
is it is so refreshing to hear your music for so many different reasons because it's a nice throwback to the classics, but it has this modernized twist to it, and it's so wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, it's like um I'm so inspired and moved by melody. Like as long as you have like a big, beautiful melody that you love and have an emotional response to, go crazy on the production, man. Like take some left turns and twists, and that will push rock music. That's I'm all about that.
Absolutely. A few days ago, you actually tweeted out, uh, it's crazy to be making one of the best albums of all time, which I definitely want to get into in a second. But
Yeah,
I'm more curious if yours is the greatest album of all time, who's the second greatest?
man, that's so tough. Um,
You're the one making great albums, man. You got to be policing this stuff.
yeah, I mean, who's making the greatest? I don't know. I'm gonna say Barry Gibb and Barbara Streisand's Guilty album.
Ooh,
Yeah. The cover where they're like both holding each other and those I got it right there somewhere. I can find it. That's gonna be my because you were thinking I was gonna say like Queen, Zeppelin, Beatles. No, no, no. I'm going with what I don't care. I am who I am. I'm gonna tell it how it is.
you got to represent who you are. It makes perfect sense.
Amen.
um, so does this new album have a name? I mean, are we going to be getting new music, or is it going to be featuring music from your last three EPs?
It's exclusively new music. It does not have a name yet. I mean, it does have a name, but not one that I'm gonna tell you the name yet because it could change. It changes like every 60 minutes or so in my head. Yeah, it's all brand new stuff.
Okay, very cool. Do you feel like there's a different kind of pressure in working on a brand new album versus EPs?
Mm, a different kind? No, not really. Not one that I think about. Like I just think of the only pressure is from myself, um, to just really say like, is this gonna change the game? Like, is it gonna take people's heads off for better or for worse? Are they gonna say I love it or I hate it? That's to me all I think about. If they're like, yeah, it's pretty good, then I don't want to make it. You know what I mean? Or if
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, it's good. It sounds great. That's not something I'm interested in.
No, you want something that's going to like kick you in the face and like listen to this. And I feel like a lot of music nowadays is kind of lacking that. Um, I feel like I guess they're like, I don't want to say too produced, but there's too much of a formula where,
Yeah,
a lot of your stuff kind of just gets away from all of that. And it's so, like I mentioned earlier, it's just refreshing.
Thank you so much. Yeah, for me, it's about like either you're playing it safe or you're not playing it safe. And I've never played it safe because there's no expectation of success. You know, I think your odds of success are the same if you just do you or if you do something that you think people might want to hear or want out of you. So you might as well just do you and double down on it as hard as you can, you know? Um,
Yeah.
I think about that all the time, man. Like you get Bohemian Rhapsody because you have so many weird records that came like 2 decades before it, and they're taking all these risks and they're experimenting, and maybe there's some misses, but then one day you get Bohemian Rhapsody, and you never have that without somebody just saying, I'm gonna just do whatever I want to do. What I make is what I make, and it's gonna be great or it's gonna be awful. You know what I mean? And like you have to have that. You can't be like, well, I really hope that this person likes it and that person likes it. It's like there's no room for that, you know?
Do you feel like you have your Bohemian Rhapsody yet, or not yet?
No, I don't think so yet.
Okay.
Because that's like a specific. I don't know. I also here's another trap that I try not to fall into. So
Okay.
many times I fall in love with a record, and then I go, man, I really want my own version of that. You know what I mean? And then you kind of like just try and make your own Bohemian Rhapsody. I go, oh, that's this shit. Go, you know, I guess like when they were making Bohemian Rhapsody, he wasn't trying to make some other song and then he made his own Bohemian Rhapsody. He made the first one. So I'm trying to make the Bohemian Rhapsody that other people would. I don't know. I'm getting caught up in my words.
You know, when you start thinking deeper and deeper into it, it's like I totally understand. I totally get it.
I'm digging myself a hole. I can't get it.
You know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, one of our favorite songs that we've been jamming here a lot is "This Is Our Life."
Thank you.
Definitely created during, you know, the pandemic time. Where were you at mentally when you were making this song?
Man, I was just feeling like I wanted to burst, you know, and that's how a lot of my records get made, where like I just wake up and I'm just like compelled. I'm like, I gotta say this, I gotta make this, I gotta do this. And man, I just wanted to like have this guttural expression. I really truly believe like there's this great Nina Simone quote that says art should reflect the times. And that's one thing that's so lost in rock music, in my opinion, where it's like artists don't really reflect their times. You know, I feel like a lot of songs today sounds like they could have sounded 10 years ago. And from an emotional standpoint and a production standpoint, I always want to be evolving constantly and reflecting whatever environment I'm in.
Mm-hmm. Challenging yourself. I think that's a thing that a lot of people have a tough time with.
Always, always. Like I listened to the first 6 songs from the album the other night, like in a row for the first time ever. And I like had to like catch my breath afterwards. I was like, I don't know if I could say this. I don't know if I could do this. And I was like, no, that's how I should be feeling about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. You know, one of my first experiences with your song was actually through the music video, which was beautifully done by Rock and Egg. Who came up with the original concept of it? And it's going to be a reoccurring theme for future music videos.
Yeah, that's my concept. For me, like Des Rocs is just as visual as it is musical. You know, like the visuals are just as important to me. And yeah, This Is Our Life. I mean, it's a fun video, and it's really like all these people are kind of dressed like me and supposed to represent different parts of my personality, all murdering each other, and there's a lot of pizza involved, and it gets a little strange sometimes. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited for all the videos to come. I made another music video with them too, and I haven't announced this yet, but it's coming out next week. So I'm excited.
Oh, shut up! Oh my God, I'm so ready for this, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be a trippy one. I'm really pumped about it.
Well, so am I. Are there any other influences besides music, or really, are there any other art that influences you in your music?
Oh, absolutely. I'm immensely inspired by the art of New York City and just the essence of what it is and what it represents. I'm immensely inspired by Renaissance art. I just love the drama of it. I love Caravaggio paintings. These like super dark, brilliant, kind of twisted but beautiful images. Like that defines a lot of what I'm all about. You know?
Yeah, that's awesome. Why do you feel like the roll part of rock and roll is the most important thing?
Because I think the role is the energy. And I
Yeah.
think that rock, a lot of people try and describe rock by just a bunch of production choices, like here's a distorted guitar. And
Mhm.
I don't think you can describe it. I think it's just an energy and an identity. And I think I could drop like an accordion into my next song and it might be the most rock shit you ever heard. You know what I mean? Like I firmly believe that.
Yeah. I do like that you experiment with other instruments too to bring it into the rock world. I think a lot of people nowadays, they throw a guitar on it and it's like, oh, it's instantly rock.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are much more components to it, but you can make something sound like it's rock and roll if it's done right.
Absolutely. It's just like an identity. You know what I mean? Like people ask me all the time, they're like, how many years do you have to live in New York to be like a true New Yorker? And I'm like, I think you can live in New Yorker for like 2 days. And if you're like, I'm a New Yorker, like I feel this place, I connect with this place, I vibe with the energy, then you're a New Yorker. There's no limits, there's no time. You know what I mean? I feel the same way about rock. Like if you are up there on a stage and you have a certain emotional connection to the music and the audience, and this is who you feel you are, like that's rock music.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about the spirit. And, I think we need to definitely keep that in the music for sure.
Absolutely.
With your music though, you cover some really dark places in your life and really just life in general. But from what I've noticed just talking with you, you seem to be like super optimistic, a very, very happy person. What do you do to maintain your level of positivity?
um I drink a tremendous amount of coffee, and I have it right here as well. I drink a tremendous amount of coffee, and then at night I just like crash, and then I wake up again, and I do it
Thus,
all over.
thus the manic wake up like a vampire, just straight up, I gotta make music.
That is how I wake up. Like I wake up possessed by a vision of a show that's in my head like 30 years from now. And every single move I make throughout the day is like, how do I get to that show? You know what I mean? Like every single thing. I think I'm solely focused on it in a way that's probably detrimental to my health and all relationships. But
Uh,
at the end of the day, you know what I mean? It's like it's just I am who I am. So
Now I'm just thinking you sleep in a coffin and
I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't. So
or like hang from the ceiling, but that's fine. We all sleep differently. I get it.
some people sleep
Uh,
on their side, some people sleep on their tummy. I don't know. Yeah.
the other day, I'm sure you heard it by now. Everyone's talking about Adam Levine and Maroon 5 saying that bands don't exist anymore. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I just saw that on Twitter and I don't even really get it. Like, what was he trying to say? What's like the meaning?
I think he was more or less saying that I think that maybe he's just surrounded by a lot of his friends that are going solo
Yeah.
and not really like taking a step out and looking like, hey, there's plenty of awesome bands still making music to the day. You got Muse, you still have Foo Fighters doing stuff. A lot of these older bands are still making music, and a lot of bands nowadays are still influenced by that music. So yeah, it was just a weird thing to say. And now this dude's getting so much heat for it.
Yeah. It's like also, I mean, we like, are there objectively less bands? Yeah, because I can play the drums on my keyboard and I can like program all these things I never used to be able to do. Like, yes, there might be some fewer ones literally, but
Mhm.
man, are there still so many good ones actually? You know what I mean? That are out there and doing stuff. And you just gotta find them. Like I'm sure he just lives in like a castle on the moon, and it's just probably not living in the real world. So
It's a really good way to look at it, a castle on the moon.
yeah, I think I just got the title for that album. Yeah.
I'm glad I can help with that inspiration. Makes me
Thank
feel
you.
good. You actually used to be a part, one half of another band. I believe you're called Secret Weapon. Am I right?
Hmm.
Um, you know, is it what was that transition like of going in from like two people working on music into just you?
Well,
Or are you a control freak?
yeah, I am a control freak. And it's tough to be doing something that is like a true creative partnership where it's like 50-50. This is like my best friend who works on all the Des Rocs records with me like every day by my side. But it was different because like I just think that like it's a creative dictatorship like any good artist project. You know what I mean? I don't think like most bands are like, all right, we each have a 20% say. Like, no, some people play the drums and bass, and then some people just like steers the ship. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So for me, like, I know exactly what I do want to do and how to get there. And I couldn't imagine having to like go to the table and like negotiate that and like trade off certain things in exchange for other things creatively, you know?
Right. Yeah. It kind of, in a way, it almost seems like you're selling yourself short because you're not, revealing your authentic sound that you really want.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard enough to get like what you're thinking out into the real world as it is. I couldn't imagine having to like handicap it along the way, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I do have one more question for you, and it's actually a fan question. They want to know if your song Love in a Smoking Gun will have any future releases on a streaming platform or even be on the new album.
No and no. It's a vinyl only song, and the vinyls, I just signed 600 of them in my apartment
So
and just dropped them off to the FedEx man, so they should be going out soon.
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Des, I mean, this has been an absolute pleasure. I love your music. I love what you're coming up with, and I can't wait to hear what this album's going to sound like. I'll probably be the first one in Arizona to get it, so it's fine.
Thank you. I can't wait to get back to that Crescent Ballroom. I'm pumped.
Dude, that show was pretty epic. So
Oh, you were there at the last show?
yeah, I was like in the very back.
Oh man, I love that place. It's like I played there twice now, and they got this thing. If you're looking at the stage, it's behind you on your left, a little to the back, and it's just this menu. And it says ballroom burritos. And for some reason, I always just look at this thing. I'm like ballroom burritos. I just like it sticks in my head, and I can't get it out. But I hope to get back there soon.
I'm just saying the name of the album, Ballroom Burritos.
I like that carne asada. That's killer.
Very cool. Well, Des, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And thank you so much for taking time, man. We'll see you
Thank
later.
you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Bye.